Hey, Sharix here. So this is going to kind of be a semi-serious video, but not professional by any means. I'm just going to be sitting here in front of my computer and talking. But for anyone who knows me personally, they'll probably know I'm a very vocal person about my opinions. I engage in debates a lot of time, and some people like it, some people don't. You know, it's whatever. But most of my opinion expressions go in more of an text written online form. So I don't ever get to practice expressing, opinions, being more vocal about it as much as I would like to, which I think speech is a very important thing to have, and making sure you're getting your ideas through consistently. But anyways, so while yes, this is just going to be practice and share my view online. But the topic today is going to be about Benjamin Glaze, a 19-year-old who auditioned on American Idol. Now, um, basically, Katy Perry was a judge at this point, and they usually, ask things like, what's your life like, what's your name, or how did you get here? Just trying to learn a little bit about them. And he ended up admitting he's never, I think, yeah, he's never had a girlfriend, and he has never kissed anyone. And Katie was just like shocked about this and everything. So, she gestured for him to kiss her on the cheek, and he was like, "Oh, a kiss on the cheek, whatever." He goes to kiss her on the cheek, and she was like, "Oh, what? It didn't make that smooching sound," trying to say it's not like a legitimate kiss. But then he goes in for the second time, and then she does, the famous turn your head around to kiss him. So, in response to that, he just fell to the ground. And in an article, or talking to the New York Times, in the article, he said it was made him uncomfortable. I've heard things where he kind of like bragged about it, but kind of shrugged it off as not a big deal. But there's kind of a controversy with this. Two-sided opinion. Some people is like, who cares, shrug it off, there's other people saying, this is wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. So I kind of want to. I'm more on the side that uh, she definitely shouldn't have done that, but it may not have been. Uh, it's kind of blown out of proportion a bit, which I'm in no way trying to like make her out to be like this horrible person. I don't think she has bad intentions, but I think these kind of topics, and especially the lower like ended topics in severity, should also get some attention because you need to draw the lines of what is what. Everybody knows the more severe portions like groping, rape, whatever. But you should also make note of where to draw the line in the beginning of when things start becoming an issue. So the whole core of everyone's argument is consent. So the guy, he consented to a kiss on the cheek, but he did not consent to a kiss on the lips. And anyone who have heard that he said he was a super conservative guy, and that's why he was raised in a conservative household, and he wanted to wait for someone special to give his first kiss to. So to any person who can think, at least in that point moment, would be like, oh no, don't kiss him because he's wanting to save that. So it's special to him. So why would you even like try to take that away, even if it's like a joke or to get publicity? It's generally a shitty thing to do. So the whole consent issue is that he didn't consent to a kiss on her lips. Katy Perry should have known to not do something like that when he said he was saving that first kiss. I'm glad the guy, he kind of shrugged it off and thought it was nothing, but even then, at that point in time, he did not consent to it, even though it doesn't matter to him that much. And regardless of what the people think or what he thinks, the issue is still the same. It's no different than say someone made like in a non-joking way someone made a racist remark to me. I would usually be like, I don't give a shit, whatever, and just go away. But that doesn't justify what he did. It's still wrong. It's just I'm not going to take my time and bother with it at that point in time. And if someone was to post that situation online, and a lot of people talked out about it, they'd be certainly justified to talk about an issue like that. Uh, But some of the I'm gonna go over some of the bigger arguments and why it doesn't make too much sense. Some of the biggest things I've heard is like, she's hot. Why would anyone not want to kiss Katy Perry? Or it's not a big deal. It's just a kiss. So as far as the argument of who wouldn't want to kiss Katy Perry, the problem with that is you're basically saying, a portion of people would want to kiss her if given the opportunity, but that doesn't mean you can just generalize everybody as wanting to kiss her. And that can be for any reason, whether you find her attractive or not, or you want to know a person before you kiss them. Nobody's obligated or should be obligated to want to kiss someone. And the idea that they're hot, then everyone should want to kiss them. It's just kind of dumb. It doesn't make sense. I think it's mostly I see men saying that kind of thing. I'm not trying to generalize or anything. That's just my personal view, and I think a lot of people. I kind of consider it, kind of a form of a toxic masculinity that because they're attractive, then you should be wanting to do this. It's kind of the whole thing, like if a guy gets raped, then a lot of people, I won't say a lot, but there's probably a portion of people that would be like, you got laid, you deserve it, or not you deserve it, but you got laid, you should have enjoyed it, be happy about it that you actually had sex. And that's just really downplaying the core of the issue when it's just the principle of consent and drawing the line where even if it's just bargaining for more than what you got, you drew the line of where the consent was, and it should not be stepped over. And a lot of people are kind of overreacting about it, but I think what gets more people upset is those that try to downplay it and make it seem like it's not an issue at all. It is an issue, and it may not be as big of an issue as people may make it out to be. But when you say it's not an issue at all, you're basically justifying uh, this kind of scenario where if you kiss someone without their consent, or even if it's just a little step up without their consent, then that's okay when it's not. But anyways, another reason why people try to justify kissing her is probably because of her popularity and fame. And being a celebrity doesn't mean you can go around kissing anybody you want. People have their own rights to their anatomy. But another big one is, it kind of relates to the hot argument, but it's more like, I think it's cute. I would interpret it this way and talk about it this way. Therefore, everyone should see it like this. Like, I would think it's a cute thing to talk about later on in your life and brag to your friends, when really not everyone thinks that way. Not everyone wants to just kiss someone because they're famous or celebrity, or people may have different opinions about that person. Like, even she could be the hottest girl in the world, that I find the most attractive person ever. If she has a shitty personality, I wouldn't want to kiss her. And other people be like, oh, why won't you kiss her? She's hot. Well, people generally may have other reasons for not wanting to engage with someone in that sort of way. But yeah, the hard argument that I think it's cute are just kind of dumb, and the he doesn't care. It's still the principle of it still matters. It's kind of like if it's an in and now movement. So like you have the whole situation where if a girl consents to sex at that one point and withdraw it later, you can't get them for it because you consent at that time. But if you don't consent at that time, then later on you're like, oh well, it doesn't matter. The in the now still matters to the point that you didn't consent to it. You weren't. I wouldn't say you weren't okay with it because of the, what he thought later on. But at that point in moment, she shouldn't have stepped her boundaries. And you can go the whole route where people say two people they kind of like each other or expressing like each other, and one goes in to kiss the other. I kind of consider that a more different scenario because they're both kind of expressing that they like each other and expressing a mutual feeling, and at that point they go in for the kiss. If the girl isn't fast enough, she can retract away, and yeah, she can retract away or completely block it entirely. I'm sure you've all have seen numerous gifs about guys getting blocked from kissing girls. But in this case, I mean, she clearly knew where the line was drawn, where the stance was, and that's why it's kind of not okay, especially with her position as a show host, and it's kind of like a very unprofessional thing to do. So let's see. Oh, another one is he probably, if he didn't want something like that happening, he probably shouldn't have walked up there in the first place. Well, yeah, you could say that, but it's kind of the idea, you know, that she hinted, and he consented towards this one single action. I don't think he had any idea or any thought, especially with the peer pressure of a celebrity asking you to do something. That at least that he's okay with it. He already said if she had asked for it, he would say no, obviously. But uh, it was kind of just an abuse of trust in that regard. That he trusted she wouldn't do anything like that, or probably didn't even think about it whatsoever. And then she went and did that, and he was at least uncomfortable with it. It's probably a very awkward thing, especially when you're being filmed on live television, not live, but being filmed to go on television. Uh, but I mean, nobody should be just because you do something like that, and they may have the intention of overstepping their boundaries, doesn't mean that they're in the wrong. And no, not by any means am I trying to make the guy feel bad about being okay with it. He can feel however you want. It's not the idea of trying to victim blame, which people do try to victim shame the scenario. But I don't really. I just throw that aside because that's just dumb as fuck. He in no way was responsible for the situation, which people try to do. He shouldn't have walked up there to make him responsible when he's not. But yeah, the principle's still the same. She should have known not to do that. That the lines were already drawn. He wanted to save the kiss, and any thinking person would not kiss them. I guess unless they want to disregard that and make a big thing out of it. But that's kind of the summary of my thoughts. That it's just a principle that she shouldn't have kissed him. But it's really not as big a deal as people have blown up to be, and the media's kind of twisted his words a little bit to make him more. They kind of make it more be like he's not okay with it when he is. But yeah, she shouldn't have done it. It's not as big of a deal as people made it out to be. You know, it. She should be condemned for it. Not it's the idea is just not reinforcing that kind of behavior, and people should know that you shouldn't be doing things like that, regardless. But anyways, that's my views on it. This is by no means professional, and I'm just kind of like on the fly voicing what I'm saying. But take it easy. I'll see you on another video if I make another one. See ya.